I hoped my life would turn out to just be an incredible, loving husband, father, incredible career, just a happy life. I never expected some of the things to happen in my life that did, and never expected to be at this point. I was starting to fill the void with drugs and alcohol, and I knew that I just couldn't do it on my own. I knew that I needed to get help.
I can remember one night laying on the couch with my room spinning around because I was drunk and saying, God, something has to change here. And that was really the breaking point where I began to look toward Him for the answer. At that point, there was like nowhere else to turn, so I found a church and started going. And the pastor said something that really struck me. He said, it is not enough to make Jesus your Savior. And I'm sitting there thinking, what else is there? And he said, you must make Him Lord of your life. So I sat there and hung over that morning, grabbed the sides of the chair and said, God, my life is so messed up. If you can do something with it, you can have it. And there was a beginning of a change. It began to change my life, but I couldn't get free from the alcohol.
Just over 3 months ago, I decided to go up to my brother's. He's an ordained pastor and runs a boys' ranch in Flagstaff for troubled teens. He had once ran the streets and was an addict himself, so I knew that there was no better person to talk to than him. And we sat down and prayed, and he prayed with me and prayed over me, and he gave me one piece of advice that I think I'll never forget, and that was just to take a leap of faith. Believe that God can make changes in your life, and He will. I was able to completely change my way of thinking and surrender myself to God, and just knowing that He's the only way that I'm going to be able to get through life and be the husband that I wanted to be, and be the father that I want to be the man that I want to be the employee that I want to be. He was the only way, and I know that now.
So I kept going to church, and again, I would show up on Sunday mornings, still hungover, but I was reading and I was seeking God with all my heart. And one morning we had a guest speaker come in, and I went up for prayer, and when she came around and she was laying hands on people and praying for people, when she got to me, she began to weep. And she just held me and began to pray over me, and she said, honey, do you know what God's doing? And I said, no. And she said, He's filling you with His Spirit, and He's setting you free. And I just ended up in a heap in tears. At that point, I didn't know what had happened, but I knew something was different on the inside of me.